What's going on, guys? A lot to talk about in this one, so I'm just going to jump right into it. And we're going to start with SPY. And before I even get into SPY, I just want to say something right now. I don't care what the news is saying. I don't care how bad the economy is. I don't care how bad inflation is. I don't care if we go to World War III tomorrow. We're in a bull market. The market is bullish. As of Thursday, I already knew the market was bullish from when I made my first video. Very clearly, we are flipping to a bull market. As of Thursday, Friday last week, that was all I needed to see. SPY crossing 418, the local highs here from the breakout. That's it. We're in a bull market, bottom fucking line. I don't care what anyone is saying. I don't care what the news is saying. I don't care what the Fed is saying. I don't care how bad the economy looks to you. The market's bullish. So, with that being said, jumping into this SPY chart, I have a bunch of screenshots I want to show. I want to get into everything. I am more bullish right now than I've ever been. It looks amazing. Everything looks great. So, jumping into it with SPY. First of all, diamond bottom on SPY. Now, this downtrend, January 2022 until January 2023 when we broke out. Descending broadening wedge, bouncing off the resistance, off the support, up and down the channel, all the way down, up until January 2023 when we broke out of the channel and we came down to tested again, confirmed the test, and then found some upside. Now, from the breakout here, the highs were about 418.34, I believe. When we broke out, we hit a high of 418.34, came back down to test on the previous resistance of the descending broadening wedge, found a bounce here, came down again, broke slightly through it, and then reclaimed and found a bounce off. And as of Thursday this past week, we crossed the local high of 418.34 on SPY. Bullish as absolute fuck. Insanely bullish. It looks amazing. Diamond bottom. Very, very strong bullish reversal pattern here. Golden cross on the daily. It couldn't look better. So I just want to start off by saying that SPY looks very good, and that's important to us because the previous two times that AMC squeezed, SPY was rallying to the upside. SPY was in a bullish position, rallying to the upside. The previous two times AMC squeezed, it recently broke out of a downtrend and confirmed the test and found a bounce off and a new local high this week. It looks amazing. Now, I mentioned this before too. This bottom on SPY is very symmetrical, and it's labeled here by the boxes. You have your low from the downtrend here, and I don't know how I really explain this better than how I visualized it for you, but it's a very symmetrical move here. Cup here, and then the green. You have the W, and the same thing over here, the W, and found a bounce off. This horizontal line drawn here, perfect, but in the green. Look how perfect the bottom is. The bottom in this green one and this one, perfect. Found a bounce off. Then the top, rejected here. Found a breakthrough here, but rejected eventually. Rejected here, and we finally broke over it this past Thursday and then Friday as well. And on Friday, bounced perfectly off this line here. This 418 level is a big deal, and SPY broke it this week. I mentioned this in one of my previous videos as well. Two daily candles here, 450 to 425 on SPY. So SPY is about to start ripping faces to the upside. I don't give a fuck what anyone's saying. Bullish as fuck. It looks amazing. I mentioned this as well too. This is SPY, the 1 hour SPY chart while AMC was squeezing in January, and then this is the present chart on SPY right here. Now, I went over this already. This green box here, this big W that you get. From the top, you come down, form a W, kind of a shelf on the side of it. Same exact thing here. Back up to the top over here, come down, another W, come down, another W here, and then find your way back up, reject off the resistance. I don't have the line drawn, but it should be drawn right here. Reject it again, higher, low, and then you claim this channel. Now, right here is when AMC squeezed in January 2021, and I mentioned, I think I mentioned it a few times, every time we break below this channel here, we're going to claim it, and that's exactly what happened. We spent a while under it, broke under, reclaim, broke under, rejected it, Double bottom perfectly at 403, by the way. Rejected, 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 and then you finally broke through here, and we're back in the channel. Every time you break below this channel, you claim the channel. I said it before, and look what happened. Again, we reclaimed the channel. Set it back here, reclaim the channel. SPY is going to new highs. I don't care what anyone says. It looks amazing. It looks amazing just for the market in general, and it looks amazing for AMC, as the previous 2 times that AMC squeezed, SPY was very bullish and rallying to the upside. So that being said, shout out to Babalu, one of the members in my Discord, extremely smart guy. He put me onto this a while ago, and these bars pattern, and this is the 1 week, by the way. Let me get myself out of the way. 1 week chart on SPY here, and then the bars here are pulled from 1997 to 1999 on SPY. So over 20 years ago, and it's playing out perfectly. I believe I went over this in one of my last videos. The movement here is pretty much perfect up until your top. This would have been 480 right here, as you have it here. And then you have this downtrend, this channel that you play in, and then you break out of it and find new highs. And we broke out of it in January, spent a very long time testing the breakout, confirmed the test and found a bounce off, and broke 418.34 this week. It looks incredible. The market is bullish. SPY is going to be seeing new highs. AMC is going to be seeing new highs. All the meme stocks, GameStop, Bed Bath Beyond. I don't even know about Bed Bath Beyond. I don't know what the deal is with that, but probably Bed Bath Beyond. The whole meme basket is about to fucking take off, as well as altcoins, Doge, Ethereum Classic, all that. I mean, I don't really care. My priority is AMC. I like the value in AMC, and that's what I'm focusing on. But the market is bullish right now. I don't care what anyone is saying. That's that. Jumping into the macro on AMC, and I've gone over this a billion times by now. As far as the macro goes, it is tracking absolutely perfectly. Absolutely fucking perfectly. Very red this week. Low volume, decreasing volume, red, low volume, bar coding. Who the fuck cares? I'm going to get into the tracking and the micro and everything. But as far as the macro goes, the macro has not lied. From this breakdown, this flag here in November, the macro has not lied. I have it overlaid here. I've gone over this a million times with you guys. We already got the first bottom right here. We got the tri-peak. And then we got our second bottom, the lower low, and then we're in this channel here. I'm going to get into that as well. I overlaid it here, so you can see it a little bit better. The movement is it's legitimately perfect. Starting with the green box, you come down, bounce up, you come down, you have this W. Literally tracked it perfectly the whole time. The shelf, the wick down, come up. You have the higher wick up here, the cup, come down, up to the top. Now, this blue segment here, I had to fragment it and kind of stretch it a little bit, only because, as you've seen for the past couple months, we've been barcoding on very low volume. It's taking a very long time, but it's still tracking perfectly. Literally overlays perfectly here. Your first bottom, your tri-peak, your second bottom, and then you have this uptrend here, which takes you to your squeeze, to your all-time highs. So it looks great. No complaints there. Now, I showed this in one of my last videos as well. This is what I just showed you, but just zoomed in. You have your first bottom here, the tri-peak marked by the green flags. Same exact thing here. Come back down to your lower low, and then you have this channel here. And same thing back in January 2021. You're just riding in this channel, rejecting the resistance, holding the support, reject resistance, hold support, before you gap over the channel. Bounce off of the channel as support, and that's your squeeze from there. So this is just zoomed in even more. Legitimately tracking perfectly, has been the whole time. It's just taking a very long time. I showed this in my last video as well, the trend angle, low to low. So here's your W, here's your 3 peaks, and you have your lower low on the right and the channel, and same exact thing here, the W, the 3 peaks in the middle, the lower low on the right, and the channel. Now, the trend angle, I showed this in my last video as well, from this low here on the right leg to the left leg, 175 degrees on the right in our current cycle, the right leg to the left leg, 177 degrees. Pretty much the same thing. It can't get any more perfect than that. I mean, I guess 175, 175, but 2 degrees off, it's pretty much perfect. It looks great. That's another thing that looks very good for us. It's honestly, I think we're squeezing within the next 2 weeks. I'm gonna get into it. I've said it before, hasn't been right before, but I went over this in my last video as well. Just as far as the macro goes, I made my channel here. Legitimately, all this downside here, all the way from the top. I make my channel here on this gap up, following the macro, which I was a little confused at first because the touch points were a little weird. I thought possibly this could have been the lower low, the right, the right leg of the W, and this would have been the left leg here. But since I made my channel, we've done nothing but form higher highs to the upside. Downside, we've been flat, and now we're in this channel. Very strong support on the bottom, very strong resistance up top, just riding in this channel here. And this is this channel here, this uptrend, which takes you to your squeeze. We're literally right there. And with SPY crossing 420 this week, crossing 418.30, and finding a new local high, I could not be more bullish than right now. It looks amazing. SPY's about to fucking take off. So daily EMAs, I've gone over this a few times as well. I don't think I really need to. I'll just go over the 20. The 20 over here back in January crosses over the 50 to the downside, crosses to the upside in the tri-peak, comes back underneath, and then when it crosses again, that's where you find your squeeze. Over here, same exact thing. 20 hovering under the 50, crosses it in the tri-peak, and then comes underneath, and we recently crossed it again, and it's sitting right on top. Now, these EMAs, the daily EMAs in this current cycle, are very, very tight. The 20 sitting on the 50, around probably 520, and the 100 is sitting around 550, and the 200 EMA is sitting at $6.64. Insanely low. That's very low. When we cross the 200 EMA, that's legitimately where you found your squeeze back here. So we don't have to go that far before things start to get absolutely fucking crazy. So that's the EMAs. Looks bullish. As far as volume goes, in this channel here, in this previous iteration that we just saw, this upside here back up to the top of the channel, increasing volume to the upside, and then the downside, decreasing volume to the downside, bullish. And we broke below the channel. That's fine. January 15th did the same exact thing. You broke below the channel multiple times actually in January 2021, but this looks like a bottom here. Very flat. A cup. I think the low is 484, something like that. But reclaim $5, close the week above $5. It looks amazing. Everything looks great. That's that. The 1 hour, this is just showing the channel again. This previous pattern that we played in, a descending wedge, probably about 2 weeks long here. Very strong resistance up top, good support on the bottom, just bouncing around this descending wedge. And then this week, broke out of it, came back down to test, bounced off, tested again, and bounced off again. And there you are. That's a descending wedge on decreasing volume, broke out of it to the upside, closed the week above $5. Very, very bullish. That looks very good for us as well. Now, the channel that I was just showing you before. So I'm going to get into the tracking and where we could possibly be in this uptrend. I mean, I've gone over this a few times. The micro right now, tracking this on the micro is very tricky. We're barcoding on low volume every single day and barely moving. We're basically just moving to the right. We're not really moving up or down. We're just basically sideways. We're flat here. So tracking on the micro is very difficult to do. Having said that, we finished the green W, we finished this cup here in the red, and then in the blue, which would be this section here right before you squeeze, we already got our first bottom here. We already got the tri-peak in the middle right here, and we got our second bottom with the lower low on this side. Having said that, we're somewhere in this uptrend here. Somewhere in this uptrend. Now, this is just my opinion, but either we are sitting right here of January 15th end of day, or we are up here in the January 22nd flag and finish the iteration here. Regardless of whichever spot we're sitting in right now, we're expecting upside next week. makes sense as SPY is very bullish right now and probably about to start ripping faces to the upside. It looks very good. So just as far as the macro goes, undeniably, we are in this uptrend here that is taking us to our squeeze. This uptrend that we're in is going to be taking us to our squeeze. It's just a matter of where in this uptrend we actually are. So the two possible scenarios for me, as far as I see it, is we are here. This is the January 15th high of day, and then you retrace, and then you gap up into the January 19th to the 22nd flag sequence. So we're either here, or we already finished the January 19th to the 22nd flag sequence, this here. We already finished this, and we're in the downside from the high on the right. So this would have been the first high, which would be here, and this would have been the second high, which would have been here, and then this retracement is just exaggerated. Not going to even pretend like we haven't seen exaggerated price action on the pullbacks or even the pumps. So as far as the macro goes, we're somewhere in this uptrend that's going to be taking us to our squeeze, undeniably. It's just a matter of where we are. So having said that, this is the channel now. So this is your first bottom of the W here with your tri-peak, and then your second bottom. This is January 2021, right before the squeeze in January. And this is our present cycle here, your first bottom here, the tri-peak in the middle, and then your second bottom here, and we're in the channel, same as here. I previously stated this channel here, this uptrend, takes you to your squeeze. That's what I'm expecting. It's just a matter of where in the channel we actually are. This is zoomed in now. So for the case of January 15th, it makes a lot of sense. The hell? Shout out Doomsday in my Discord. He made this for me. That's pretty fire. I don't know why that just popped up, but anyways, as far as where we are in the channel, I have these circles here showing this would have been the top here. It even looks very similar to the way it topped. Very flat up top, trying to break through. Same thing. And then your January 15th high of day would have been here. And then the retracement from that high brings you back below the channel, and then you come back above the channel and then gap up over. So in the case of the January 15th on the micro, we would be expecting a gap up on Monday, probably to $7. So you would gap up on Monday to $7, maybe $6.50-ish, come even higher, maybe to like $8, and then play this pattern here. And in that case, that's what would happen. In the case that we're already here, we would just gap up to $8 anyway, because you gap up from here regardless. Regardless of whichever scenario you're looking at, we're expecting upside next week. I'm eyeing the date of May 31st, and that's because of OPEX. I've gone over that with you guys already. May 31st, 7 trading days post OPEX. OPEX was this previous Friday. Why does this keep popping up? Yeah, so May 31st is my first date of interest that I'm looking at, and what the hell? It looks very good for May 31st. I just lost my train of thought because that picture keeps popping up. All right, so yeah, so you have your first top here on the channel, the second one here, same thing, and then the retracement down breaks you below, and then you gap up into this iteration here. So that is the case for January 15th, and then zoomed in on the micro now. From the high of the day of January 15th here, you still bullish as fuck. Yeah, I get it. Very, very bullish. I don't know why this keeps popping up. I'm trying to make a video. So, all right. So from this high here, you have a descending wedge, which you break out of, kind of hover above here, and then you get a pretty much nasty sell-off down to bounce off, test again, and then you close the day pretty much in that range right where you bounced off, and then the next day, this was on a Friday, and then the next trading day you gap up from there. Pretty much same thing here, descending wedge. Here would have been your breakout, the nasty sell-off down, you bounce off, just the same way you do here, you bounce off back up to this range here, and then you test again. So there it is, your first test, bounce up, second test, and then back into this range, and then you're pretty much flat in this range here. This was one day, by the way, and this was pretty much the entire week. So, you know, no surprise there. I told you guys we're tracking this very slow. We're moving very slow, barcoding on low volume every day. As far as the micro goes, though, if we're looking at January 15th, descending wedge, broke out, retest, and then close in this range. Same exact thing here. Broke out, retest, retest, close in this range here. So in that case, we'd be gapping up to $7 on Monday. The January 22nd case, pretty much the same thing. The first high here, descending wedge, break out of it, still bullish as fuck. Yes, that's very annoying. You break out of it, form a W here with a higher low on the right, and then you find some upside, double top. This would be a double top at 620 for us, and then downside, and then you gap up to $8 from there. So scenario 1, January 15th is where we're sitting right now. We gap up on Monday to $7. Scenario 2, January 22nd flag sequence is where we are. Here's your W right here, your first bottom with the lower low, bounce up, kind of flat here, same thing here, and then second bottom here with a higher low, same thing here. So scenario 1, we gap up to 7 on Monday. That's the January 15th scenario. Scenario 2, we slow climb all next week back up to a 620 double top, and then have some downside here probably into end of day. This would probably take all week. In this scenario, this would probably take all week. January 15th scenario, and this is pretty interesting. I just want to go over this really quick as well. I can click on it. In the scenario of January 15th, we would be sitting pretty much right here, how you close right under the channel right here, as we did. We would gap up over the channel, test on it, and then that would be your squeeze from there. This is very interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days from this gap up here. 7 days to the peak. If we got the same thing here, that would land on May 31st. So all next week, there's a holiday on that Monday the following week, Tuesday, Wednesday, May 31st. That would be that scenario. In the scenario that we're already here, and we would have to climb back up to 620 and then get that downside, that would probably take all next week as well, probably until Friday, where you would gap up to $8, and then, which would be this candle here. That next Tuesday, because there's no market Monday, would be this second candle, and then peak on Wednesday. I'm looking at May 31st. I think the case for May 31st looks very strong, so that's the way I'm leaning right now. After May 31st, the next date that you're looking at is June 28th. I don't see a case where we don't squeeze by June 28th. Just as far as where we're sitting in the macro, how it looks on the micro, I don't really see how this gets dragged out until the end of June. So that's pretty much that. I mean, I think I covered everything. Very, very bullish. Very, very bullish right now. The whole market is bullish. SPY looks amazing. AMC on every time frame looks amazing. That's pretty much it. I'm looking for upside next week. Again, the two scenarios is we gap up to $7 on Monday, or we just slow climb back up to 620 double top, get some downside, and then gap up from there. Regardless, we're expecting upside, and we are right fucking there. We're very, very close to squeezing, and that is pretty much that. So enjoy the rest of the weekend, guys. Depending on the price action next week, how it goes, I might be making update videos during the week. If we gap up on Monday especially, I'll be making a video on Monday. If we start slow climbing back up and it looks like we're tracking the January 22nd on the micro, and we're just going to get a slow climb back to 620, probably won't bother making a video. That would be pretty boring, not really much to talk about. So that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys on the next one.